Okay, Alexander, let's talk about Trump's taxes. And this may be one of our quickest videos ever because I think this story is pretty much dead on arrival. But you know what it signals to me? It signals to me once again that they've run to their wits' end. They've got nothing on Trump at all, and they just keep on going in circles like a dog just chasing its tail. Russia, and then they leave Russia for a couple months and they come back to it. Then they leave Russia for a couple months, come back to it. This taxes story has been going on now for years upon years. And, it's just, do people even understand how taxes work? I mean, I've been on Twitter and listening to what people say. Some people think it's like Trump has like $4 billion in cash, like in cash sitting in his dresser drawers or something, or in his closet or at the bank or something, and he should be paying taxes on that $4 billion. But once again, you have the New York Times running with more anonymous sources and just more complete nonsense. I read the New York Times piece, and it's just so dumb.
Yeah,
these guys aren't accountants. They're not. There hasn't been any audit of anything.
No,
and these are just journalists, just kind of running with a story that they say they've done a deep investigation into it. The New York Times, but anonymous sources to protect the anonymous sources. Anyway, this story has been dead on arrival, and I don't know if you have any thoughts on it.
Well, I absolutely. I mean, very quickly. I mean, I agree with every point you've made. I mean, can I just say something? I mean, these are typical tax returns that you would expect from a very, very rich man who's got very, very good lawyers, very, very good accountants, and who is asset rich, very asset rich, that's very clear, but whose income stream is, what you would expect it to be. And I'm not going to go into the details of how people run their tax affairs. That's not my business. All I will say is that you're absolutely right. No one of the many people I have heard discussing this and who think there's some great story here seems to understand how taxes work or how accountants do their job. Minimizing your client's tax is what accountants are for. The IRS knows it. You must make no inferences from that whatsoever. And as it happens, if you drill down into the details, you find that Trump has actually paid an awful lot more tax than the New York Times is trying to say. But put all that aside, no evidence of wrongdoing, no evidence of illegality, no evidence of fraud, no evidence of connections to Russia, absolutely nothing. This is a giant, big, fat nothing burger. It is nothing else. It's zero. It's zilch. Now, we've been hearing about these famous or infamous tax returns for 4 years now. Now that the New York Times has finally seen them, it has come up with nothing. Zero. Zilch. Rien. Nothing. I mean, I can't put it more straightforwardly than that. By the way, just to say, if you've ever bothered to listen to what the Duran says about these questions of the tax returns, whenever they've come up, which admittedly has not been very often, we always said that they would come up with nothing. And they have come up with absolutely nothing. It is shocking, absolutely shocking, that a person's private tax returns have been leaked to a newspaper in that way. The IRS had no issue with them. So what's the business of the New York Times to go and writing up stories about them? Yes, Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Yes, it has been, shall we say, the habit in the last couple of elections for people to publish their tax returns, but there is no obligation, moral or legal, upon them to do so. Donald Trump chose not to do so. How much he pays in taxes is his private business. It is between him and the IRS. If the IRS wasn't concerned or bothered, there was no reason for anyone else to be. So the New York Times has once again behaved disgracefully and inappropriately by publishing these things. But in a way, it has also done us a service, because we will hopefully hear no more from now about this dreary and pointless story, which has turned out to be, as I said, a big round zero.
What is wrong with the New York Times? Why are they such a terrible publication? What happened to them? I mean,
No.
we're gonna get more stories about Russian meddling, aren't we? Because it appears to me that they've tried to find stuff on Trump. I can't imagine a person under more investigation, under more scrutiny, not only from the intel agencies, which we know they probably investigated every single aspect and every single corner of Trump's life, but from journalists and the corporate media, the mainstream media, which I need to remind everybody have enormous budgets, probably from NGOs and the Michael Bloombergs and the George Soros and the Bezos and the Bill Gates, and all these people have also put private investigators and God knows how many people they have trying to find something on Trump. And at the end of the day, all you end up with is bogus Russian cooperation and meddling, which we now know Russia preferred Hillary over Trump. We now know that as well. You have a dumb Ukraine transcript, and you have his taxes. And need I remind everybody that the mail-in ballot thing has now run into a dead end now that you have Amy Coney Barrett. And when it does go to the Supreme Court, the Red Mirage plan, it'll go to the Supreme Court, and that will also be a complete dud. The Democrats have been checkmated there as well. So we're back at taxes. I'm just waiting for when we're going to go back to he's a Putin puppet.
Well,
when are we going to get there?
When
exactly?
Next week? Well, next week or tomorrow? The day after tomorrow? I mean, remember, it was just a few weeks ago that they were running with that phony story about the Russians having paid bounties to the Taliban for killing US soldiers, and Donald Trump doing nothing about it. And the Pentagon says that wasn't true, and the intelligence agencies said that wasn't true, and Donald Trump says that wasn't true, and sure enough, it turns out that it wasn't true. No part of that story was true. Just as this, as I said, this story about the tax is not true, just as Russiagate and all those collusion allegations were not true, just as all the ideas that Donald Trump was going to build huge buildings in Moscow wasn't true. I mean, none of this has turned out to be true. What is really remarkable about Donald Trump, I'm going to say this, I mean, he must be the least corrupt man in Washington and New York. I mean, it must be the case. I mean, he's a billionaire. He is a billionaire, by the way. He runs this huge business. It's in the construction industry, which is a pretty tough business. He also, has been on television, done all kinds of things there. I mean, you would have expected something by now. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the Wall Street oligarchs, the tech oligarchs, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all the Democrat congressmen in the House of Representatives and in the Senate with their various teams, all sorts of other people, all the media, everybody have been investigating this man. And they've come up with nothing. I mean, if you'd asked me 4 years ago, I would not have predicted it, actually. I would have said, well, surely there must be something somewhere. But the fact is, and we need to understand it, there is literally nothing at all. Whatever Donald Trump is, whatever his flaws are, or his alleged flaws are, he is not a corrupt man. That's absolutely clear. He is not a corrupt man. He is not an agent of Putin. He is not involved in any nefarious activities. He wasn't involved with Epstein in any conceivable way. So let's just accept that fact. He is not in any conceivable sense or way a corrupt man. And the New York Times, it's doing itself and the media and the people a massive disservice by continuing to pretend that he is.
All right, let's leave it there. A story that was dead on arrival and just another pathetic attempt by the New York Times. Just really pathetic. And with each day, they just fail more and more.
Yeah,
just a complete failure of a publication.
Absolutely. Of a once great publication, which has now become a tawdry rag. Sorry to put it in that word, but that's what it is.
Yep, that is true. All right.